my name is Aspen Entomology, and welcome back to another video. This is part 2 of my free Paludarium build. You can watch part 1 right here. As you can see, the Paludarium needs a bit of maintenance. The water is looking pretty yellow, even though I was hoping it would clear up. There's also some mold growth throughout the terrarium in various places, including on this patch of moss, under this piece of driftwood, and on this other larger piece of driftwood. For now, the only way I know how to deal with that is scrape it off. Another issue in the tank is that this plant is starting to die. I'm not going to do anything about it yet, unless it starts to get really bad. And finally, the beetle that I mentioned in the last video actually died today as of recording this. I identified it to be of the family Hydrophilidae, the water scavenger beetles. I'm not sure why it died, but it's possible that it was a predaceous species and I wasn't giving it proper food. Well, before I start introducing any new inhabitants, I better deal with these water issues. I started out by taking out all of the water and sand in the water area. This is because there was so much dirt that I just had to take out all the substrate too. After a while, I added some new clean sand and clean water. As you can see, this drastically improved the way the water area looked. I also decided to lower the water level, which should dry out the soil some and discourage mold growth. Now that the tank was ready, it was time to go catch some frogs. I outlined this process in my herping video. You can go watch it here. I ultimately caught 3 spring peepers, each of which looked different, which was perfect for telling them apart and naming them. Once I introduced them to the tank, they all immediately hopped away and started hiding. Later that night, however, I was able to observe 2 of them peeking out from under the foliage. Now I knew these frogs would be loud, but I wasn't fully prepared for how loud they would be. In fact, I had to end up putting them on my porch every night just so I could sleep. I could still hear them from my room too. In fact, they even interrupted some of my recording sessions during this video. By the second night, I had already recorded several different interesting behaviors as they explored the tank and interacted with one another. There were still multiple issues to deal with, however. Because every night I had to move the tank from my room to the porch, the water washed out some of the dirt and continued to dirty up the water area. Additionally, due to obvious reasons, I'm unable to buy flightless fruit flies, which would be my ideal food choice for the frogs. This means I have to be creative with feeding them and find bugs that will be small enough for them to eat. Feeding them is further complicated by their stress in their new home and their uncomfortability with me. I think I had known it from the beginning, but it was finally time to accept it. This vivarium wasn't going to work out. The mold had gotten so bad that it was overtaking all of the plants and driftwood. We were past the point of scraping. I learned that window screen made a terrible substrate divider. The dirt was falling through into the rocks, and I couldn't get the frogs to eat, no matter what I tried to catch from outside. I finally decided that it was time to let them go. I think they would be much happier outside. Once I let the frogs go, I decided to leave the Paludarium alone on my porch, and this is how bad all the mold got. All the plants had pretty much died at this point, and the water was dried out as well. Some things I learned from this experience were that you need to make sure you're properly prepared and have the right materials before you start a project like this. It wasn't as bad for me because I used wild-caught animals, but if you were to buy something from a pet store and do this, and were underprepared, it would not go well. Although this project didn't go as planned, I still learned a lot from it, and I don't regret doing it at all. If you want to see more of my videos, subscribe and hit like if you enjoyed. Make sure to leave a comment if you have any feedback. I'm Aspen Entomology, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.